put these in alphabetical order. That's what he said. No, they're everyone. Yeah, like you're like everyone who's coming tonight. Yes, well, because Stephen is not doing that. How many people? You're still yeah.
Engagement I want to see you have, so that was great. And, I wanted to spend just a minute before Tiff starts the ACL. I want to jump in and get into the ACL again today. Just talking about this Becker thing. I mentioned that earlier. I have this accounting master, and I set up a question set, which is this one that's called, and it's I think it's the only one that comes up. It's called Audit Overview 1 here. And I set up 50 questions that are, and we're also going to do simulations too. And I want to be clear, this is not, I'm not grading you on any of this, but I want to give you some, maybe a few classes, I'll give you some class time too. I just want to give you a chance to, because to me it does two things. One, it helps you with your basics in auditing again, and also it helps you prepare for the CPA. So I encourage you to go through, again, I'm not grading if you don't do it, or you already passed the test, I think someone in here already took the audit part. But the audit part is tricky, because you get questions like, this one here, let's pick on one here. What the permanent file and audit documentation for an engagement generally would not include what? And the correct answer is number 3, a working trial balance. And a working trial balance is part of the current year's audit document. It's part of it. One is incorrect. Bond indenture agreements are typically found. I mean, that's kind of a tricky question because any of these things could be part of, if you just define auditing in general, any of these could be part of an audit documentation engagement if you were doing a specific type of, because you could be doing a strategic type audit too. So some of the questions are tricky, but I set it up so that you'll get the answer right away when you go through. And I'd encourage you, passing the CPA is one, and I'm also going to give you this article about how to pass the CPA, but passing it is one of these things of testing psychology as well as, and thinking about certain precepts in auditing, and if you got those precepts, then you can answer the questions. But if not, these questions are tricky. I don't like them. I don't like the questions. I'm a critic of the exam because I think we don't have enough of the kind of stuff we're talking about on here, and we have a lot of this sort of shades of gray, differences. So what I did was if you already signed up, a lot of you in the class, I have this list here, and I have I sent invites to all those who weren't already registered, but based on your email, you should have got an invite. If you have trouble getting into it, or you didn't get the invite, come and see me. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
You didn't get it. Okay. You what?
I did not get it.
You didn't need it. How many did not get the invite? Well, no, wait. Now, see, some of you, look for your name on here. Some of you already have, where is it?
Professor, I found that if I registered, so Professor Brown had us register for this.
Okay.
And so I didn't get that invite, but when I logged into Accounting Masters using the same information I used for Professor Brown's class, I had all the access to everything.
Then you'll see it. Yeah, that's the thing. You would have done it in Dr. Brown. So take this website. It's where's my Becker thing? It's I can put it up on the board there too later, but it's https://AMAnnieMary.Becker.com. So it's https://AM.Becker.com. And then just, I assume you don't have your password, right? Because it's a few months ago. Just go ahead and ask for a new password, okay? So try, you don't have to do that now, but try that. And I'm going to give you some class time too, because I'd like you to, and then if anyone still can't get in, I want you to call me, send me an email, okay, and I'll get you in. And this is just, again, for your own development, and it might be helpful in the class too, because on the exam, you're going to have to understand some basics about audit, general audit stuff, okay? So thank you, Kathleen, appreciate it. So go in, and if you go in there and they say they don't recognize your email, then send me an email, okay? So everyone have that, https://am.becker.com, and just put in your, ID and password. Your ID is your email address, okay? It's just your school email address. I can show you up here. I mean, I have, the only people that I sent another invite to is someone is PAK140 at Rutgers, and Jin Wang invited, but everyone, I think everyone else, there's 32 people on here, so that's more than the size of the class. I think most people should have it, okay? So can we try that? And I want to encourage you to go through. I'm not grading this. I just want you to get some experience, going through it. Because we're going to get good at the CPA exam by going through and doing it. Okay. So give me feedback if you have problems, and I can help you during the week with it, or call me or whatever. Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? Okay. Let's turn it over to Tiff here. Then we're going to get. Let's go learn more about ACL here. You notice he said one of the skills you need to have is ACL, so.
So we're going to use the same data set we used last week. So if you don't have the files now, please download it from the platform again, and you can save it to your USB. So next class you can use it. How many of you do not have files right now? I'll give you 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, take a few minutes and download. Raise your hand if you need help on it. You can get it right off. The files are right on Blackboard. I encourage you to put them on a stick, and you can just, because these computers wipe out everything that's on them. So maybe tips just show where they are. Are you on Blackboard now?
Yes.
Yeah, she'll show you what file to download. Maybe just walk them through it. And then on the screen on each computer, you can just load the ACL software right there. It's just the files that you need.
So the data is in the course document under the ACL folder. And you can see the ACL project here. You have to download everything in this RIR file. You have to unzip it. And then just make sure you unzip everything, so not only the laboratory part.
And maybe show them the manual too. We should have that in case you get lost. You can follow with that.
We have this file called ACL in practice, and our tutorial is based on this manual. So, and then your assignment will be based on this ACL in practice file. So make sure you can download it and then print it out, so you can, if you're lost in class, you can follow on this manual.
Question?
Today I want to show you how you can analyze the data using some basic information in ACL. And there's two parts. The first part I want to show you in your transaction table, which is a transaction employees use their credit card in April's transaction. And then the other table is the credit card information and then employees information. I want to show you how you can look for duplicate records and how you can do some analysis of the credit card table. And then I want to show you some advanced, basic and advanced functions in the filter. So the first part I want to show you how to look for duplicate records. And this one we're going to use the employee table. So we want to look for duplicate last name and then duplicate employee numbers. So please go to your ACL and you double click on your employee table. And then the duplicate function is when you click on Analyze, and there is a function called Duplicates. So So the first one I want to show you is how you can analyze the duplicate last name from employees. So you click on this duplicate on, and you double click the last name to the selected field.
Now, let me interrupt for a second. What's the audit reason? Why would you be doing this on an employee file?
Duplicate
Yeah.
to see if you have paid twice to the accounts payable.
Or you have a ghost employee, or, yep. You want to think about why are we doing these things? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so you click on OK. And in the list fields, these are all the fields that you want to know, you want to show in your result table. So you just click on Add All to the selected fields. And you click on OK. And OK again. It will show enter output file name, and you can just output to the screen. I will show you how to output to a file later on. So you click on OK again, and you will see a list of results with the same employees with the same name, same last name. And you can see that, but actually their first name is different and their employee number is different. So this seems that yeah.
What was that output file name?
You can put it on the screen. You don't have to put a name, you put it on the left.
Any name, you can use any name. It's just a temporary file. Tiff, run that through again. Just take everyone through how to do that.
So you go to Analyze.
Load employee file.
Yeah, go to Employee Table, and then you go to Analyze Duplicate. Duplicate on their last name. And then you select all other fields to show in the result table. And in the output file, you put it on the screen. Yeah, so it will show this screen here. So this is how you can analyze the duplicate last name. And I want to show you another one is to analyze the duplicate employee numbers. So you basically, yes?
Can you please slow down a little bit?
They go a little slower. Just make sure everyone's with us.
Did you got this one?
I have the official, copy. I get 0.
You got it 0? I'm going to show you again. So you go to, are you at the employee table? Okay, you go to Analyze, and you go to Duplicate. And duplicate on you double click the last name. And
Remember to hit the duplicate on. You got to do that.
yes, and in the list field, you add everything into the selected field. And then in the output tab, you put it on the screen, and you hit on OK. It will show it. Okay, so I want to show you another example is duplicates on the employee number. So you go back to your employee table, and you do the same thing. You analyze the duplicates, and this time one of the duplicates on the employee number. So you double click on the employee number, and then you hit OK. And now in the list fields, again, you select everything to the selected fields, and you hit on OK again. And you might see there is 0 duplicates detected for the employee number. So this is, everybody got it?
Everyone okay? Raise your hand if you didn't get it. You're tracking.
Okay, so this is how you do the duplicates. And now I want to show you, we're using the credit card table right now. I want to show you how to analyze the credit card data. So the first example is, for example, you know that Metaphor, their employees, they have this credit card and they have to use it. But sometimes when it expires, they will apply for a new credit card. But the company might want to analyze whether the credit card has already expired. So that's, for example, we want to know whether the credit card is expired. Its expiration date is earlier or on the 2004 January 1st. So in this case, we have to use the filter. So we go to this credit card table. And then the filter is in here, the third button to your left. It says Add a View Filter.
Remind them to go ahead to Windows and turn on the command window, the command line, and the toolbar, so you have those symbols too. You want to do it that way. Click, see what she's
Yes.
doing, just click on window. They don't come up by default.
If
Just
you,
look.
if you want toolbar, you can go to this Windows, the second one, toolbar. So go back to the expression builder. And now we want to know any expiration date that is on or earlier than 2004, January 1st. So you go to this expiration date, double click it, it will show in the expression. And then you click on this on or before, and you click on the date. And you can double click this year to just type 2004. And for January, you double click it, you just type 01, it will show January. And January 1st, so again, you type this. So you can double click the number and then you will type in the date you want. You will get this one. And then you hit OK. It will show the expiration date on or before 2004, January 1st. Yes.
How do you get the expression builder? I'm sorry.
You mean the whole?
Like, how did you open that window?
Oh, okay. So how do
Everyone
you?
watch closely.
Yeah, you
Function?
hit on this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, edit fill filter, and it will show the expression. And what we do is you go to the, you hit on the expiration date. You want it to on or before 2004. And then you hit the date and time. And change it to 2004, January 1st.
Everyone following? Just
Yeah,
make sure you're following. I mean, the goal here is to let you see this is not hard to do. This is simple to do. No harder. Just got to navigate a little bit. But
So you hit OK now, and you will see expiration date on or before 2004, January 1st. And you can do this verifying whether your expression is valid or not. So you click on verify, it says it's valid. And if you do something wrong, it might show, like, for example, you don't have this quote, it will show this missing the string delimiter. So you can put this back on, and you click on verify, expression is valid, and you can hit OK here. So now this is all of the data that is the credit card, that the expiration date is actually exactly on the 2004 January 1st. And if you want to export this table to a file, what you do is go to data, and then you hit on extract. And in this window, you could just make sure the record has been chosen. And in a two column, you just type on any file name you want. You can export it to a table. So, like for example, we type on just the date 2004, January 1st. And then you hit OK. It shows a new table with your result. So this is how you can export your result to another file. And then the next example I want to show you is for some advanced function of the filter. So you can not only use one filter, you can choose two filters to do an and or function. So let's go back to this credit card table again. Just double click it to go back to the credit card table. And you go to the filter again. So now I want to show you with the credit card, they have this new balance field. I want to show you the credit card number that has a new balance is over 1,000, and they have the due amount is over 0. So what you do is you first put on this parenthesis, and then you click on this new balance. Just double click it, and more than you type 1,000,
You're basically writing an analytic is what you're doing.
And then we want to, if you want to use OR function, you just click on OR in the middle. And then we want to also filter on the past due payment is always zeros. So you click on this parenthesis again. And you have to make sure it has a space between OR and the parenthesis. And then inside.
Where'd you get the or again? Oh, there it is,
Here.
yeah.
And then inside the parentheses, you click on this past due amount. Just make sure they have this space between the parentheses and the words too. And you click on more than 0. And then you verify this expression, make sure it's valid. And then you click on OK. So now you will see a list of records that have the new balance more than 1,000 and then the past due amount more than 0. And then for this one, like we show you last class for the counting the number of records. So you can go to analyze. And the first one is counting the record. And you see the screen, just hit OK.
Sorry, can you go back?
Yes.
And go real slow, too, so everyone can make sure everyone follows.
So you go to this, you want an expression?
No.
Just the counting.
The count, yeah.
Okay. You go to analyze and count is the first one. And if you see this window, you just click hit OK. And you will see on the bottom there is a 71 count. And if you want, if you want to do a quick sorting for a new balance, you can just left click it. And then quick sort descending. So now you will see the new balance, the highest new balance in the record.
So this is kind of like, Excel on steroids, that's what we're doing here, so it's not no harder than that. But I just want you to play with it and get familiar with it, with the idea being that you understand, you could write three-level nested ones, say, if this and that to address a specific fraud. In fact, Steph, could we talk for a minute about why you might do that, this one that we just did? What are we looking for here?
Yeah, we're looking for their credit card. So these represents a different credit card number for different employees, and they might have new balance is what they have for their credit card. They spent money, so they have a new balance. The past due amount is the amount that they haven't paid off yet. So these are the
Yeah, we're looking for the higher risk ones here. And then we might modify this analytic then once we find the over 1,000, greater than 1,000, then we might start to hone it down and look at a more detailed level. So this is where you're just adjusting your analytic. And like I shared last time, at any time we can take these analytics and put them into a work stream that's going to run every day, every hour, every month, whatever. And then we get that closed loop alerting out of it, and we find out where people are committing fraud or not doing things right or whatever.
So I'm going to show you another function using the same expression. So you just you go back to the expression window, and then you change the OR to N. So now you will get these two filtered together. So you just hit on OK. And now you will get the new balance is over 1,000, and then the past due payment is over 0, these two criteria together. Okay, so the next example I want to show you is suppose for example, your manager wanted you to find out some transactions for a certain customer. And now what you want to do is you want to find the customer number and to see which employees spend money on this customer and what kind of transaction they have done. So now we change to the transaction in April table, double click it. And then again we use the filter, so you go to the added view filter. And in this expression we want to know the customer number, which is 444413, this customer. So you first double click on the customer number. And equal to. And because this is tax, like this is just a number, so we have to put the double quote on it.
How many fours is there?
444413.
So it's 4 4.
4 4
4
and 1
fours
3.
and then 1 3. And you're understanding the quote part, we're looking for a specific.
Yeah. If it is numeric, you don't have to put a quote. So if it's like the balance $1,000, you don't have to put a quote. And then you verify this expression, make sure it's valid, and you can hit OK. Now you will see all the transactions related to this customer. Like you'll see, like these are the part numbers of the employees, and they spend on this customer, and the description is like the hotels, rental car, or bakeries.
I didn't get that.
You want me to
Yeah, go back, do it again.
So you can remove every, like the filter you have right now, go back to the,
Let's all go through this together, let's all do it again.
yeah, so remove this, the second button to your left. It's next to the filter.
Okay.
So you go to transaction, you go to this table, transaction in April, and then you go to the filter, and you go to this customer number, double click it, and you hit equal, and then you put double quote, and inside the quote, you put 4441.
4 fours and 1 3.
1 3.
4 4?
Yeah, there's 4 4. And then you verify the filter, make sure it's valid, and then you can hit OK. And you get all the transactions for this customer.
I got it.
And if you do your analyze count up there again, you're gonna, and then hit that box,
Yeah.
you're gonna have 26 records. I think. I did, right?
You get 26.
26 records. Now, Tiff, put the analyzer up there again. Just want to point out, you know, that you can, the amount of the analytics thing, yeah, there. I mean, just look at all the things that you can do here. You can put statements, and go down here, you got all your, you know, between, bit, blanks, code strings, statistical characters, so you can write code. You're basically coding. You're coding an analytic. But anything that you can describe in pseudocode, if this is happening with these dates before this time over this amount, you know, for this person or this employee, you can do it. You can write it. You know, and that's typical of what an analytical thing is doing. And you don't need my point is you don't need an IT person to do this. This is not any harder than writing a macro in Excel. You know, I mean, so assuming you have the data.
Now the next part, I want to show you how can you analyze the credit transactions, and they have this table of transaction in April for all the employees that are spending money using their credit card. So how you can analyze their expense patterns. And the first thing I want to show you is a function called summarize. So in the summarize, when you use this function, you will get the total expense for each category. So I'm going to show you right now. So let's go back to this ACL, and then you're still in the transaction info table, but you have to remove your filter.
Just hit the X to pick the filter
Yes.
off.
So after you remove the filter, the summarize is in this analyze, and the summarize is here. So you click on it, and now we want to, so you remember the Metaphor, they have a list of codes that acceptable codes and unacceptable codes telling the employees what kind of transaction can be done for using their company's credit card. So we want to analyze the description of each code and what are the amounts that employees spend on each different categories, like, for example, hotels, rental car, or bakery. So in the Summarize on tab, you click on it, and then we want to summarize the amount for the codes. So you double click it to select the codes. And then you hit on OK. And in the subtotal fields, because you want to know the total amount, so you can just, because it's only one field, so you can just click on it. Make sure it has 1 before the field. And in the other fields part, you click on it. You just choose the description. You want to know the description of each code. And then you hit OK.
Do you have to add that to?
You click on the other field.
Yeah, you don't have to put, when you hit description, you don't add it on.
Or you can add or either,
Okay, or just click
double
on it.
your.
Okay.
And in the output tab, you can just put it on the screen. And you hit OK. Now you will see a list of codes they have and the corresponding descriptions they have. Like for example, in this 3058, it's the Delta Airlines, and you will see that actually similar, like different airlines, they will have the releasing their codes. So the codes is based on different categories. So now you know the total amounts employees spend in a code for this specific company.
Now, this might be part of an analytic that you use. For example, if we don't use Lufthansa as not a preferred carrier, and all of a sudden we see there's huge amounts of money being spent in Lufthansa, we might want to investigate that, or we might want to, put that in an analytic and say, if the code is 3008, then send us an alert. If someone uses Lufthansa when we're not supposed to use Lufthansa. There may be a good reason, but.
So the next example I want to show you is how you can extract a transaction by different categories. So let's use an example, like suppose you want to know the total amount that is the employees spend out of town, like their airfare, their hotels, and a rental car. And so this function I want to show you is called the between function. It's also in the filter. And so you can see that the codes for the hotels, motels, rental car, and airfare is from code 3000 to 3750. And we are going to use this expression. So the between function, because we want to know the codes between these range. And then you can see the all trim codes. So the codes is the fields that we want to choose. These are the codes. And the all trim function is for, because in the format, sometimes when you put the raw data in the codes, they have extra spaces besides this 4 digits. So you want to trim all the extra spaces so ACL could read this 4-digit code. So this is the function that we're going to use. So let's go back to the transaction nature table. If you still have filters on, just make sure you remove everything. And then you go to the filter. And the between function is here, to your right. And you double click it to make it to this expression. And then the first value is the codes. So the first value, you should select anything you want to analyze on this available field. And this one we want to do the codes, but just don't click it right now because we want to trim these extra spaces next to the codes. So you hit this all trim function. Just replace the value. Don't leave the value there.
So you're highlighting that value and then hitting all trim because you're going to have a value inside of that.
Yes, and then inside the all trim bracket, you highlight the string, or you can delete it, and then you double click the codes to make the codes inside the all trim function. And then you could delete the minimum, and then you put the double quote, 3000. This is the beginning quote we want to choose between.
And this is where you got to know, is a number a numeric or an alpha number, that you need to analyze. So.
And then in the next part, again, you put the double quote here, and then 3750.
3750.
I was just wondering, what does all trim mean? What is that?
Meaning, so you put a row data into ACL, the code still might have this extra spaces, so
Okay.
ACL can have these are 4 digits, the number,
Oh.
yeah, you want to trim all the spaces.
Okay.
Yeah, because the field might be 5 characters, but where the codes are only 4 characters, and that happens a lot. And that's something, that's one of those irritating things you gotta get from the IT people one time, just to find out, you know, sometimes you have to. But you'll find that out right away when you start to write your analytics, it doesn't work, you'll find out, oh, well, that's a alpha field, and you gotta trim tab it, you know. Not that common, but.
So again, you can now verify, to make sure it's valid. And then you hit OK here. Now you will see a list of results that have the code between 3000 to 3750, and that's all related to your hotel or rental car or the.
Now, someone give us a count, how many are in there?
Yeah. You can hit on analyze and hit on OK. And if you
88.
want, 88. If you want to know the total amounts for these categories, you can go to analyze and you hit on total. And you just click the amount. And you hit on OK here. Now you get the total amount that is related to this category. So now I want to show you another function called match. So earlier what I show is you can find a list of code between certain number. And if you only want to find a code, like for example, if you want to find the total expenses related to the golf course or the drinking establishment, now you want to find the 2 specific codes. Now you cannot use between functions, so you have to use this match function. And again, we have to trim these codes, and then the match function should match to this public golf course 5813, this code number, and then the drinking 7992. So let's go back to this transaction in April table and make sure you remove the filter.
Let me just ask, what are we getting at here? Why are we doing this? We're looking at certain vendors, right? We're looking for people who are spending money at golf courses, which, you know, might be appropriate for certain business. How about gentlemen's clubs, you know, or gambling institutions, you know, or on purchasing liquor stores, or, you know, I mean, yeah, so and you write an analytic and you can monitor, because every company has a merchant code. I can monitor what people are doing and where they're spending money and look for fraud, you know. Now, it might be a gentleman's club that has a restaurant, you know, on the side or something, I don't know, you know, but so you don't always necessarily have fraud right away, but, you know, or a liquor store that has a snack bar or Subway in it or something, I don't know, you know, but you want to, that's why we're doing this.
So after you remove the filter, you go to this expression box, and then the match is in, yeah. It's here, double click it. It's based on the alphabetical, so you can scroll down to N.
Everyone tracking?
And then for the first part, again, you have to choose all trim codes. So you just highlight this comparison value as related. And then you go back to the A part, all trim here, double click it. And you change the string to the code. Just highlight the string and then double click the code. And you can delete all the text 1 to 3 because it's just, if you have 3 numbers, you can do 3. So you make sure you leave the comma there, and then you put on the double quotes. And it's 5813 for golf course.
It's 5813.
Yes, and then you put a comma after that.
What is the code?
quotes or?
And double quotes on both, yeah, both sides of the number.
And then we do a double quote again. And for drinking establishment is 7,992. And then you can verify your expression, make sure it's valid. And then you hit OK here. So now you get all the results that is in the golf course and in the drinking establishment.
How many do we have there? Don't show them yet. 11. Already ahead of me. Right? Do I?
The record?
What?
Record. Everyone gets 11 records for this filter.
Everyone got it?
And again, you can, if you want to know the amount, you can go to analyze the total function. And you click on the amount. And then you click on notate. You'll get a total amount that is related to golf and the drinking.
You got a good drinking company there.
So the last thing I want to show you in this tutorial is the classify command. So this is very similar to the summarize command we have, but the only difference is that in summarize you can get all other details for this based on different codes. And in classify, it's actually they're focusing on counting the different how many codes we have and then the amount of the codes. So let's go back.
And why would you do that?
For classifying? Yeah, I will show you in that. So you can go back to this transactions in April and remove all the filter. And you go to analyze. And here is the classify function. So you click on it. And you can choose to classify it on. So these are the available fields that you can choose on. So now we want to just focus on the codes. So you can double click the codes. And you hit OK here. And for the subtotal fields, you can just click on the amount, make sure it has a 1 before the field.
What do you do if you don't have the one before that?
You can also choose subtotal field and double click the amount. You'll get the same thing. Yes. So you hit OK here, and then it will show all the codes and then what's the amount that employees spend for each company in the April for all the transactions. And this count is how many transactions they made for this certain company.
And then if you can show too, if you click on one of those codes on the left, if you go back there, it'll bring up all the detail there too. So what makes up those 2 or 5 or whatever.
So I have a quick question for today's class.
All right, see how smart you guys are.
It's channel 41. For your attendance. Channel 41. You don't have to turn.
If you don't have your clickers, come and see it. Everyone get it?
So the answers summarize.
Good job. Give yourself a hand. I want to give Tiffany a hand too here. All right, so couple of reminders. Just spend a little time in that Becker if you can. We'll pick another group next time for Essay 3 in the book there. We're going to have Ariel Ramirez here, really interesting investigator. Talk about fraud next time. I think you'll find this class entertaining and really interesting as well, the next class here. So come again with your questions for him, and I think spend a little time in the Becker thing. Any other questions? Anyone need anything? Are we tracking all right? I think you're doing great. So all right, thanks. Enjoy.